What's up, junkies? In today's video, I'm gonna show you 14 different settings that you've got to adjust right now to make your Pixel phone way smarter and more powerful. It doesn't matter if this is a brand new Pixel phone that you just opened out of the box, or if it's one that you've had for a couple years and you're not the type that has gone through all of the settings. I've done that for you. These 14 are ones that you've got to look at. And I will say that Android 12 is around the corner. This video was made with Android 11. I imagine a lot of these settings are going to apply to Android 12 as well, but I'll definitely make an updated video as Android 12 comes out to take advantage of some of those new features. So with that said, go ahead and get your phone out. We're gonna go through these together. If you're watching this on your phone, if you have YouTube Premium, you can just go ahead and do it in the background. If you don't have Premium, open this up on another phone or a laptop or something like that and follow along. So all of these are found in the phone settings. And to do that, you're gonna swipe down and then swipe down again until you see that gear icon down there in the corner. We're gonna press on that, and the first area we're gonna go to is the battery section. And the one thing that we're gonna wanna turn on here is battery percentage. By default, this is off from what I have found, and you'll see in the top corner where it just shows the icon, a visualization of where my battery's at. It's very difficult to know if that means 80% or 30%. So when you just flip that on, now you can see in the top how it just the difference there, 66%, or I don't see it at all. So it's just really nice to know exactly where your battery percentage is at by turning that on. These next settings are going to be in the display menu. So we're gonna go ahead and go back to the main settings menu and go into display, which is right underneath battery. Here, we're gonna wanna turn on nightlight schedule. Again, this is optional, but the idea here is that you don't want a lot of blue light hitting your eyes at nighttime, especially at nighttime, and even in the morning. This essentially removes that blue light, and your screen has that kind of orangish look. The idea is that it's gonna be easier for you to sleep, and just your mind can wind down a little bit versus staring at a blue screen and then going right to bed. So you can make it easy by clicking on schedule, and you can just do sunset to sunrise. That's an easy way to where as it starts to get darker outside, your phone automatically knows when those times are, and it will adjust your screen to go into nighttime. Or if you have a custom schedule, you can set the start time and end time for that as well. Next, you will go down to the Advanced tab, and you're gonna press that to drop these down, and we're going to want to enable screen attention. So when I click on that, it's off right now. What this does is if you ever looked at your phone for a while, or maybe you're reading something and all of a sudden your screen will go dim and then it will just lock, this prevents it. So with screen attention, it's using that front-facing camera to just essentially watch your eyes. And if it sees that you are actively looking at the screen, it's not gonna go to sleep. But if it sees that you're looking away or whatever, then it will go ahead and go to sleep. So I liked having this on, especially if you're doing a lot of reading or browsing, but you're not touching the screen much. This is really nice to have on. The rest of the display settings that we want to adjust are down here in the lock screen settings. So we're gonna press lock screen. The first thing we're gonna want to do, again, this is up to you. It depends how often you're out in public and whatnot, but notifications on lock screen. By default, your notifications all show up on your lock screen, meaning if someone texts you, it will show you who the text is from, and you can kind of pull down and essentially read all of or most of the text message. Also app notifications, it's very specific as to, hey, here's all of your notifications and here's what they are. That's really nice to be able to read a lot of that from the lock screen. But if you're in a situation where maybe you leave your phone at your desk at work, you may not want your coworkers or whoever to see the specific messages that are going back and forth. So if that privacy concern is one that you have, what you can do is you can press this one right here, and it will say show sensitive content only when unlocked. So what that does, it'll say something like, hey, you've got 2 text messages, and that's it. It doesn't say who it's from. It doesn't show a preview of what they are unless the phone is unlocked. Next option is right here, show lockdown option. I think it's good just to have this on. What lockdown option is, you'll notice that if I press and hold the power button with it off, I just have the option to power off or restart my phone. However, if I turn lockdown option on and then I go and I press and hold the power button, now power gets combined, so it's power off or restart, or I can press lockdown. What lockdown does is it removes all biometric unlock options. It doesn't erase the memory from the phone. It just makes it so that if that is pressed, your phone goes into lock, all notifications are hidden, and the only thing that will unlock your phone is your PIN or your password or whatever it is that you set. You cannot use your fingerprint, you cannot use any sort of facial recognition, you cannot use your voice. The idea is if you know that you're about to go into a situation where you might outside of your own free will, you might be forced to unlock your phone by someone grabbing your hand and using your fingerprint or forcing you to use face unlock, anything like that, you can go ahead and turn that on. So an obvious one is maybe you're entering a police encounter and you don't want the police to be able to force their way into your phone, or other, sketchy situations or whatnot where you need your phone on you, but you don't want to potentially be forced out of your own free will to unlock that. So again, just having that as an option, it's just a no-brainer to be able to do that. So I say definitely enable lockdown option. The other one I really like is Now Playing. This is something that Google advertised a lot on their early Pixel phones. They don't really push it much, but I think it's a cool feature and it's off by default. Granted, it does take a little bit more battery, but that's really not that much and it's not that big of a concern. But by turning this on, your phone is essentially always listening, which it already is anyway with Google Assistant. But if you're at a restaurant or anywhere out in public and it hears music playing, it will show you, hey, this song from this artist is playing. And you'll even have a history to where I can go down here, the Now Playing history, and it will show you all of the songs that it's detected. So if you're shopping and you hear a song you really like and you're thinking, man, what song is this? You can just look at your phone and it will tell you. Then we're gonna go back out and we're gonna go to always show time and info. Some people like this, some people don't. I think it's really nice to have. It's one of those things that once you turn on, it's hard to go back. And it does warn you. Yes, this does increase battery usage, probably more so than any other option we go over today. But by turning that on, your lock screen will dim, but it will at least always show, which maybe I can show here. Oh no, it detected when I picked it up. But you'll see that time, you'll see the date, and you'll just see some brief icons of notifications. It's really nice to have this on, just to always be able to glance and just quickly see what time it is. Or if you're the type where you have a problem of picking up your phone all the time to see if you got notifications, you don't need to even touch your phone. I can just look down and I can see if there's any new icons representing different notifications. So I like having this one on. And by the way, I've found that in terms of battery usage, not that big of a difference, especially with these newer phones like the Pixel 5a. The battery is so good on this thing that having that on all the time has not been a problem for me. And the last option of the display ones, we're gonna go back out of lock screen and into the display, is increased touch sensitivity. I can't remember if this is on or off by default. I think it's off, but I have it on anyway, and I don't even use a screen protector, but this is a really nice thing. If you are using a screen protector, it's definitely good to have on, because screen protectors, especially if they're a little bit more on the lower end side, they do reduce a little bit of that sensitivity. So if you find that you're having to press the buttons a little bit more or having to hit things twice, definitely want to have that on. But I've had it on and I don't even have a screen protector, and it's been nice. So I say turn it on regardless. You can kind of test it out and be the judge. By the way, if these tips are helpful, please hit that like button down below. That helps me know if I should be making more of these kinds of videos. All right, we got 6 more settings to go through, and 3 of these are in security. So we're gonna go back out to the main section here, and we're gonna go down to security. There it is. All right, first thing, this is just so you're aware, screen lock. By default, it's a PIN, like a 4 to 6 digit type number. You can keep that there, but let me show you some of the options. So first, we got to enter our password. On this phone right now, it's 1234. And you can do swipe, which is basically just swipe and then it unlocks your phone. I don't recommend that. I would recommend using either the pattern, PIN, or password. A password is like a legit password, like you're typing in numbers, text, all that kind of stuff. PIN is what it's on by default. And then you can also do a pattern. So I can go ahead and say, hey, I want this to be my pattern right here. We're gonna hit next. And there we go. Now, to unlock my phone, I don't have to hit 4 numbers. I can just go ahead and do a unique pattern there, if that is something that you like to do. The next thing I like to do is set up multiple fingerprints. When we're setting up the phone, this is part of the process. It asks you for your fingerprint. Most people just do their index finger. I think it's good to do both index fingers on both hands and your thumbs, just depending on the situation. It's also good to go through, we're gonna confirm our pattern here, and you can just click on add fingerprint and just start adding all these different fingerprints. And I even like to add my spouse's fingerprint, at least her main index finger. We often will hop over to each other's phones, testing things out or accessing certain accounts that are already installed on one of the other phones. So if you find yourself in that situation where your spouse is, or your partner or whoever is using your phone a lot, go ahead and just add their fingerprints during that process as well. But you don't have to just do this when you're setting up your phone. You can do it right here, and you can remove those fingerprints at any time as well. And then the last one in security is Smart Lock. This is a really cool feature. So first thing you can do is on body detection. Basically what that means is if you unlock your phone and then it senses that it's still moving around, it's in your pocket or whatnot, and you pull it back out, it's not going to require you to log in again. It knows that it's still on you. It hasn't left your body. You can turn that one on there. Trusted Places is really nice. I'm not going to click into that because it's going to show my home address. But if you have certain locations where when you're there, it's a safe space, you don't need to keep unlocking it and whatnot, then go ahead and do that. So I can enable so that, hey, my home address, or I wouldn't recommend work because there's other people there. But if there are, again, other places, like another family member's house, and you trust everyone there and you hate putting in your password, that's an option as well. And then trusted devices is really nice. So for example, if your phone is already connected to your car via Bluetooth, you can go ahead and just say, hey, when my phone is connected to my car's Bluetooth, don't require any sort of PIN. I don't want to have to go through that if I have to, for some reason, grab my phone while I'm in the car. And again, watches, anything like that, when it's connected to trusted devices, so think through the situations there, you can add those to the list here. 3 more settings here, and these are all gesture related. So we're gonna go back out to the systems setting here, and we're gonna click on system. Sorry, I meant to say settings, and then we're gonna go into system, and then we're gonna click on gestures right there. So the first thing we wanna look at is swipe fingerprint for notifications. So a cool little thing about this fingerprint sensor in the back is it's not just for unlocking your phone. What you can do is you can turn that on and it will show you a little animation of how that person is swiping it down. You can see that as I swipe down and up, it will bring down the notification bar. So it's kind of a quick way while you're using your phone without having to use a second hand or to, kind of move your hand up, especially on a bigger phone, and swipe down. You can just use that fingerprint in the back and it will swipe that notification bar down. So maybe a little gimmicky, whatever, but hey, it's nice to have on as an option. Now, if you are finding that it's you're triggering it without even trying, then turn it off. And speaking of sensitivity and triggering things or lack thereof, that's where we want to adjust the back button. So if you're using the new gesture navigation, which is the new default way of moving around your Pixel phone, the back button is basically you're swiping from the left side of your screen to the right. And you can also do that from the other side of the screen. Now, if you're finding that you're having a hard time swiping over and getting it to go back, you may need to increase your sensitivity. So you would go to that gesture area and you would click on these settings. And here you can actually increase the sensitivity and notice how it essentially just makes that zone a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to hit. This is especially important if you have a thicker case or a case that really sticks up a little bit more further above the phone screen to protect those screens from cracking. So if you find that you're having that issue where you're constantly it takes you multiple tries to go back, go ahead and increase the sensitivity. At the same time, if you are someone who maybe you're trying to trim video and you're always trying to like grab something at the edge of the screen within a certain app, and you're triggering the back button and you're finding that happens a lot, that could be a sign that you actually need to lower your left edge or right edge sensitivity. And last but not least is one of the most simple but cool features, and that is flip to shh. Pretty self-explanatory, right? You turn that baby on, and as long as you just flip your phone over and put it on a table or the ground, whatever, facing down, it automatically goes into do not disturb mode. And as soon as you pick it up, it leaves do not disturb mode. That is just a nice, easy way just to be able to flip your phone over last minute. You don't have to like manually trigger it. Flip to shh is perfect. Just be aware that sometimes you'll flip it to shh, not thinking that it's going to put you in do not disturb, and then people are trying to call you and whatnot. You're not going to hear those notifications. So just be aware if you do switch it, like that is a potential downfall, is you not remembering. So those are 14 settings that you can adjust right now that will make your Pixel phone that much smarter. Now, this is my first time doing a Pixel tutorial video like this. If you enjoyed it and you want to see more tips and tricks and tutorials like this, obviously hit that like button, but more importantly, let me know down in the comments what videos would be the most helpful to you, and I'll definitely get on making those. And of course, if you are a Pixel junkie like me, or maybe you're in the market and you're thinking about becoming a Pixel junkie, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're really trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark right before fall. We'll see if we can do it. We've got some good momentum going on, but every subscribe right now really makes a difference. So big thanks to all of you who are already part of the Pixel Junkie Club. And speaking of Pixel, if you haven't already seen Google's latest commercial, they take a pretty big jab at Apple here. Things get personal in this one, in my opinion, but that video will have a full breakdown. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on it. I'll see you over there. Until next time, have a good one.